Welcome to the League of Women Voters Brown Bag, and this is our session on Malden 1 year after the fire, and we are very fortunate to have Mayor Dan Harwood here to give us a presentation of his perspective of what he's been through over the last year and a half. And he's been mayor for 1 year, however, which he's now recently, he was elected to mayor. So he have 4 more years for sure. He's been a farmer, a fertilizer, he's an agronomist basically. And he also, one of his posts was district manager of the Rock Lake Conservation District. And then after he retired from that, he started a company going back to his agronomy roots. And now he's the mayor of Malden. He grew up in St. John and Washington, but he's lived in Malden for 27 years. He was also a fire chief for 16 years and on the city council there for a number of years. So he knows Malden pretty well, and I'm going to turn this over to Dan to show us his 40 slides.
Okay, let's see if we can do this, Bobby.
Okay.
Thank you all for allowing me to spend some time with you. Okay, you got that, Bobby?
Not yet.
Okay,
You got to do the share screen.
Okay, I escape.
Don't panic, it'll come.
No.
We just did it, so we know it can be done.
Yes, I know that. Okay, share screen. All right. Now I go to here.
You opened up your PowerPoint?
There. Now can everybody see it?
No.
Okay, let's go back.
Oh, I would open the PowerPoint first.
Okay.
Have that open and then go to share screen.
All right. Well, that's not going to work for me.
You'll get there. So while Dan's working on that, I just want to share that Malden reached out to us during the primaries to facilitate their candidate forum, which we had in the park. It was really a beautiful day up there in Malden, and it was well attended. There were a lot of good questions and a full, oh, here you go, Dan, it's going to work. A full table of candidates. We now can see what you are looking at, and you might want to put it on slide. There you go. You got it.
Amen. All right, folks. As I said, it's a pleasure now that I've got this working. Technology is a good friend of many, sometimes not me. But, you know, on any journey, and please interrupt me if you want more, if you want less, or have a question. You have to go back to the building, right to the beginning. And Malden basically was founded in 1909. So we're not the oldest town in the county, but we've been here a long time now. When they were founded, it was a railroad town. It was named after Malden, Massachusetts, I do believe. Oh. And you know, we started out and we had a town. This is the Rock Church in Pine City. And that was just kind of thrown in there to show you folks that the Babb Road fire not only affected Malden, but it affected Pine City as well. And at its highlight, the Rock Church, as you can see, had kids and adults, and it was a very functioning place of worship. In the early days, you know, Malden had its own pharmacy, barber shop. We had our post office, and it was a thriving town. By the times, you know, this is showing the railroad where it was beginning and how they were building it in the 1911. And you can always tell that it's a Whitman County town because the church is built on a hilltop. And anybody that was on a hilltop last night knew exactly it wasn't the most fun place in the world around. But the depot, this is why we're here. You know, the depot was built, and as things came along, this is the Chicago, Milwaukee, Pacific and St. Paul depot in Malden, Washington. Is that correct? Okay, we've got that one. Bob Law is with me here, and he's going to keep me straight, or at least be available for historical questions as well, because he's lived here 65 years and worked on the railroad. And this is why, you know, this is the Olympic fast train, and we've got passengers, we've got freight, but the most important thing is that they were steam engines, and steam engines took a lot of maintenance, and that's what Malden did. We were the turnaround point to go from Malden to Avery and going east, and we were also the turnaround point from Malden to Othello and points west. So we were quite an important town to the point where in its heyday, 1918 through 1922, there was about 2,200 residents in Malden. And, you know, they had movie theaters, hotels. They did have a bar or two, like many young towns and company towns. There was multiple churches, school, and a new school was in the horizon. But this was the public school at that time. And there was quite a, you know, you can see there's quite a group of youngsters that went to this school. But that changed. In the mid to mid 20s, the steam engines were replaced with the diesel electric engines. And the purpose for the turnarounds, the water towers and maintenance buildings in Malden, which also included employees, dried up. And so by 1930, the town had gone from 2,200 people to 300. Now that's quite a dramatic change. And with that, you know, there's a lot of empty houses, and through the years, the buildings were torn down and then eventually replaced with dirt and gravel. This is the United States Post Office. Picture of it prior to the fire on September 7th, 2020. You can see the caboose sign was still there. So this is a couple years old, but it gives you the idea of what we looked like. And the post office, like many towns, was a place not only to mail and receive your mail, but it was a gathering spot. And that's what, when we did a survey this last year, that was the number one priority that the townspeople gave to the town and leadership was to get the post office back. And we've done that. We have agreements with the US Postal Service to place the post office in our new municipal building when we get it built. But on September 7th, the world changed. I showed this picture to my wife last night, this program. And she said, that's exactly what it looked like. She was trapped where we live. We live a little bit on the north end of Malden. We have alfalfa in front of our house, and that's where she stayed and had the embers and the smoke and the dust and the dirt. And she met the beast head on. Our house was spared. It was put out by the fire that was there. It was put out by the fire department. More specifically, my brother-in-law with his little brush truck, but there was nothing that they could do to save the house that they were raised in. And that's also where our fourth son and his wife were living. Very scary day in Malden. As you can see, our beloved post office was destroyed. And it does bring back, it rattles everybody that looks at these pictures. And it brings back the memories. The memories of people's homes and cars being destroyed by a devil, by the winds that were 50 to 70 mile an hour, straight line winds. The fire started 6 miles away, caused by a limb crossing in a Vista power line. And lives were changed forever. This was a home. These folks have moved on. Whatever a person had, the memories, the golden rings, the plates, furniture, were gone in 2.5 hours. And everybody was impacted, from children to adults. And people thought about it, and this shakes your very soul. It makes you wonder, it challenges your faith. It brings back the reminder that we're Americans and we work together. This was the fire station. Notice that it says burning ban in effect. Well, somebody didn't listen. This last fall, Amanda Rowley with CREM 2 and I were walking to this kiosk. The kiosk and the flag pole at the fire station were my fourth son's Eagle project, to give the folks in town a central spot to be notified of things, to honor our veterans. This was dedicated to his grandfather, a veteran and a longtime fire commissioner with Whitman County District 7 out of Rosea, and dedicated to Malden. And as we were walking there, and I had, it was emotional telling her the story. And this is part of being an American. and the grateful things that folks gave us. Little red car rolled up to us and handed us 2 packages of Oreos. And I chuckled, and I really appreciated it. And the folks had placed envelopes on each package, and it says, "We love Malden. Thank you." These folks took the $1,200 or $1,600 that they had received from their economic stimulation check and divided it into $50 bills and went house to house to the folks in Malden, the people that are living in RVs now, and gave them a Christmas present. We did, to this day, I do not who these folks were. They were from Spokane, and from the goodness of their heart, they thought of us first. That's the kind of town that we are living in. We have been beat down, but we're coming back. This is a picture of Scott Hokinson. He led the long-term recovery group and is currently on sabbatical. But this is a tough job. He and I went house to house during the day of the fire, and until we were asked to evacuate. This is our Malden Community Church, and it was founded in 1908. So you can see the old brick and rock put together. And you can also see in the bottom of the picture that they had shrubs for decoration and landscaping on the bank alongside, and it literally melted the siding of the church, but it didn't ignite. Now, there's 2 things I want folks to remember. One, we lost no one during the fire. No one was injured, and we lost no one's lives. The only public building left standing in Malden is this church, and it has since been resided and repainted on the inside because there was smoke damage. But folks, this is a pretty good indicator that we had a higher power, no matter what you call him, with his hands protecting us that day. Nobody lost their life. We lost things. We lost memories, stuff, but we didn't lose a life. And I think the Lord had his hands out for us, protecting us. This is Malden days after the fire. The post office is down here, the old grocery store. That's Main Street. And you can see that anything in between pretty much was devastated. The town of Malden is a eternal thorn in the side of Department of Ecology, because where they're asking towns to reduce the amount of water that townspeople can get for a base rate, Malden increases it. We're at 12,500 gallons before an overage. And we counted on folks to, wherever possible, water their lawns and keep it green and keep it mowed. Sometimes best plans don't work. This is an aerial of what our town looked like. This is what we put up with. The smoke was choking. We smelled it for a very long time, 30 days. We had some winds came in and finally they blew it in, blew it out. But that was once our town. And it was heartbreaking. This was our church in Pine City. This is the Rock Church. It has since been demolished, but there will be a memorial stone of some kind put on that. And we had Governor Evans. I don't know why I am forever saying this, but this is Governor Inslee. Made his way to town along with his apples that you see alongside him. And he and I've spoke often since then. And the first time we spoke is he promised not to bring apples back to Malden, at least that hadn't been vetted for apple maggot. He didn't read his own signs, but he promised that the state would be there, and the state has been. We made a request in October or September of last year for request from FEMA. And Governor Evans talked to our Bill Tensfield, who's our emergency manager in residence in the town. And we've had meetings. What were we going to do? Emergency management from the state of Washington set up things, camps, and we started to heal slowly. We waited for the designation by FEMA during that time, and we had meetings on meetings. What are we going to do? How are we going to do it? We had emergency management from the state that said, oh, it'll be here soon. The president will sign it. Well, in the meantime, Governor Inslee made, and the legislators under Emergency Act, last fall, we were blessed with a company called DRC Recovery, Demolition. And they started our recovery by going and getting rights of entry signatures from homeowners. And because of the time that our town was built, there was a lot of asbestos and vermiculite used in those homes. And we can't tear down a home or clean up property without being tested. And this truly was the beginning of the recovery. Last fall in 2020, we had 40 homes that their properties were cleaned. The debris was tested prior to being touched by any equipment to determine whether it had vermiculite or asbestos. If it did have, there was ways that they hauled the soil covered up in the trucks to the landfill and was dealt with from there. Very expensive. This portion of it was $4 million, and the state of Washington paid for that. December 1 last year, I became mayor. This is a full-time job. Our previous mayor was employed by the school and she needed to go back to work. So on December 1, 2020, I was sworn in as mayor. And that started a kind of a process. I'm a little bullheaded, little stubborn, my wife says. Bob would never agree with me. We graduated in the same year, 1968. And he from Rosea and me from St. John. And we worked very well together. We butted heads a couple of times during sports and whatever. Folks, this is the reason. You know, I can't tell you who that little gentleman is, but last year, the long-term recovery group, our food bank, and Novia United Way came together, still having meetings. This is Paul Kimmel. He was here at all of our meetings and here on a daily basis to give us guidance and hope. Our meetings were weekly and most of the time at night. And this brought us to Christmas of 2020. And KXLY was here. We were part of their program. And Ace Hardwares of Spokane donated Christmas lights. We had Christmas for our residents. Through Novia, kids and people were asked to write down what they wanted for Christmas, and everybody said a home. They were tired of being spread forever. They wanted to come home. And this is the best we could, but we gave them a Christmas last year. The Western Anabaptist missionaries started meeting with us in November of 2020. They're also known as the Mennonites and Amish. And we do chuckle when we talk about their service. FEMA is supposed to stand for Federal Emergency Management Administration. Well, we've renamed it as Find Every Mennonite Available, because these folks came and started planning on how to rebuild, how to start. And they were given names and they interviewed folks and they decided to come and build 2 homes. This young lady and her daughter are one of the 2 recipients of those homes. These homes were built in St. Ignatius, Montana, hauled here and put together. The foundation was built by the Amish. Building permits were put together by our clerk, Mickey Harnois, paid for by Catholic Charities. It truly was a blessing. And as you can see, these 960-foot homes are extremely high quality. The Amish have a way of making things feel better, and they blessed this home when it was time to move in. Once again, you'll see Paul Kimmel there. That's yours truly hugging our, is she 83? 81. 82. Well, I was going to get it sooner or later. Your old Nellie, what's Nellie's last name? Turner. Oh. Anyway, she works at the food bank every day. My wife was there. Kim Maxfield with Masonic Care Charities came and helped us. There's my cohort. and our food bank. Bob Law and Lori Dickerson helps with that as well. They bring food every Wednesday, folks. And, you know, Bob doesn't look like he's happy there, but I do know that this food bank puts a smile on his face. And he does it because we all love our little town and the people that are here. This summer, some of the volunteers that have been here, organizations, that's the Pathfinders from the Upper Columbia Academy and the section, we've had 200 of those folks came, 300 Latter-day Saint workers, children, high school, came and donated time, handed out flowers and helped clean up our town. Our flag at the church or at the fire station that I showed you prior to this survived the fire. And the Pathfinders came and retired that flag and replaced it with a beautiful new flag. And they did a fine service to our community, to their faith, and to our country. When we had the 1 year anniversary of Malden on September, we had it on September 6th, as that was Labor Day this year. You can see our 2 fire engines. The engine was donated to us by Spokane Valley and Department of Natural Resources donated the brush truck. And you know, there's one way to every little kid, you put a smile on their faces, put them in a fire truck and let them squirt water. And that's what we did. These kids are why we're doing this. You know, these kids may grow up and leave, but we're going to give them the best damn childhood that we possibly can here in Malden. This is part of the healing. We've had 5, 6, 7 modular homes brought to Malden now. We've got the 2 Amish homes. In January, the Amish will return and build 6 more homes for folks that have met the criteria of being denied through the SBA loan process, own their property, and did not have insurance. That's 6 more homes, but that's a long ways from the 67 that we lost, but it's a start. We shared food. And this is Mickey Harnois, our clerk. She's the previous mayor of Rockford. So she brings with her more information than I'll learn in my entire life. But like I said, I'm just a little bullheaded. And we're doing this together. We've got United Way, Innovia, UMCOR, the unmet needs, the volunteers from Rosalia, the Granny's Club, St. John Rural Relief. We've had donations from a $10,000 check from ADT Security to the fire department, to a $500 check from Alaska, and everyone in between. We've had folks fly over Malden and see the devastation. And they got on the plane, they contacted us, and they wanted to see the church. And they brought gifts for the town of Malden, donations. My son and his wife were expecting, and so they brought things over for them. My kids were here within hours of the fire. I'm very lucky. Some folks weren't so lucky and their kids lived in far off areas, but we took care of them the best we can. This is our 1-year anniversary. That's showing that we're not going away. We're rebuilding one stick at a time, one day at a time. FEMA is paying for the building of our temporary fire station. That picture was taken a couple hours ago, and it shows that we're going forward. The septic is in. The poles are there. Gravel is starting to be there for later on this week. We'll put the concrete in. You know, this is made by Kelly Brown, one of our residents. And whether you're with the League of Women Voters or just a person coming by and saying, here, it's a $20 bill. Thank you. Please use it. This is how we feel. But where are we going? I told you I was bullheaded. We have a grant from Department of Commerce to improve our water system and drill a redundant well so that we do have times when we're going to be better prepared. We have a Department of Commerce grant and contracts with Ziply Fiber and the wonderful folks at Port of Whitman to put in fiber optics to Malden and the surrounding vicinity. What does that mean? Does it mean that we're going to use it to stream movies? Yeah, we'll probably do that. But the purpose of this is to bring our folks that are low income, to let them have the opportunity to train and work 3 to 4 to 8 hours a day and improve their income and give them a chance to improve their quality of life. I've got veterans here that can basically use this to double their income. Our veterans deserve that. We have that. I spoke with Port of Whitman this morning and the designs are here. I've got requests in with Senator Patty Murray and Representative Kathy McMorris Rogers for funding a town sewer system. FEMA will be rebuilding our gravel and paved roads because they have been damaged. Their life expectancy has been damaged by 35 years. We have wonderful donations from folks for our city center. Whoops, excuse me, I got in the wrong spot. Back up, we have a $900,000 grant for our city center for a permanent fire station and training center with the clerk's office and our beloved post office. We can train people in this. It's not so big as the community building. We have plans for the park and community center, which will house the library, the food bank and great hall. We'll have playground equipment. Future ideas for the park is to bring it together and make that our focal point of town and to have an amphitheater, or we can bring musicians or have theater or paintings, weddings, full events that can bring outside income to our town. Horse stalls for our trail riders and bicycle users of the Cascade to Palouse trails, RV parks, showers, and this next year, trailhead for the Palouse to Cascade trails. You know, that's a long ways to go, and I've spent 40 of your precious minutes. So if you folks have any questions, that kind of brings us up to point one. Anything to add, Bob?
No, I think you did a good job, Dan.
And I thank you for the League of Winter Voters to being here in October and helping us with our debate. It was well run, and while I wanted to talk longer than Bobby let me, it was a fun event. So thank you all. Thank you for letting me give you kind of an oversight of where we've been, what we went through, and where we're going. So thank you all.
Thank you, Dan. That was really great. Does anybody have any questions of Dan as you were listening to him about things that you saw? I know I have one question while you're still thinking. Do you want to talk a little bit about give us a little bit of information about? I know that the standards for septics and things like that, they couldn't just, this county regulations had changed based on state regulations. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Absolutely. We've been working with Whitman County Environmental Health, and the person that was directed us gave us what the county would allow us to do on July 13th this summer. And it was, since we're working diligently to move forward to build a town-wide sewer system. And because of the fire, they were going to allow us to use our cesspools and whatever we had, as long as it was deemed and inspected to be usable. And that was being a pretty wide swing. And then a few weeks ago, we had a change of management, and they decided that they wanted to reinforce the old rules and make anybody that was building a home in the next few years, until we got our septic system, that they would have to put in a new septic system. A lot of these people had gone to SBA or had things in motion for homes through the charities, and it was going to put at least a $15,000 to $30,000 extra burden on them. We went to Kathy McMorris Rogers' office and worked with Andrew Engel, and then went to DC and worked with Liz, who came back to the governor's office, and they agreed that that was a waste of resources. And later on that week, basically, I talked to Representative Joe Schmidt, who got me in touch with Jeremy Simmons with Department of Health. We spoke for probably a half an hour on what our plans were, and he agreed that it would be in our best interest to be able to utilize what we have here. 15 minutes later, I received a confirmation email from the Whitman County Environmental Health that we would be able to move forward with that. It was a nerve-wracking week, but it showed me, and I've known this, that working together with our legislators, and we may not always agree, but they can assist us in helping solve problems. And as I said, Andrew Engel was here this morning. I spoke with John Colton with Senator Murray's office last night. You know, these folks are maybe different parties, but they represent us, and they're assisting both of us. Both entities are assisting Malden with our recovery.
That's great. Thank you.
And I as I'm looking at Christine, I didn't go into it at depth, but she's co-chair or vice chair of the long range recovery. And they are doing a fantastic job. And it takes a step every day. And some days we win and some days we don't. But we meet twice a week via Zoom. I'm so tired of Zoom, but it gives me the opportunity to talk to folks in a broad spectrum in a very quick manner.
Yeah. Yes, Christine Oakley from United Way. Would that be right, Christine? Do you want to speak a little bit about this? Because I also want to put a pitch in, or if Christine doesn't, where if people feel motivated to donate, Christine might be the person that could give you an answer to that.
Thanks, Bobby, and thanks, Dan. It's nice to see you again.
You gotta quit being like this.
I know. The United Way of Whitman County has a long-term commitment to the Malden Pine Creek community recovery. And so we have raised funds to help in that recovery. I think the best way now, if people want more information or if they want to donate, there is a way to do that through the long-term recovery organization, because the money that we have raised serves the town of Malden. And so that money gets distributed through the long-term recovery organization. So I'd be more than happy to facilitate that, or people can contact me. Bobby has my information, and I can give you the direct information for the long-term recovery organization.
Can you put that in the chat? Do you have the
I can give you
information at your fingertips?
Yes, I can. I will do that.
That would be great. We'll have it on the recording as well, if anybody doesn't catch it. Yes, Dan.
Also, you can make donations to the town of Malden. We've got specialized auditor approved accounts set up, and to the fire station. It's P.O. Box 248 Malden 99149.
248 99149.
That is correct.
Okay. P.O. Box 248 Malden. Got it.
And we're not in competition with each other. It's just some people have different ways to do it. And we give them that opportunity.
That's great.
Yeah,
Anybody
and they're, you know, the long-term recovery organization is specifically designed to work for survivor recovery. And then the town obviously works with that, as well as the municipal and all the town needs that they have. So like Dan said, we work together collaboratively.
So good. And then Avista, like you've mentioned Paul Kimmel many times, Avista has just been in the fight to bring you guys back.
Yes, they
on
have.
a regular basis.
On a regular basis. And we know that there is lawyers out there, and what happens with the lawyers, you know, who wins with a lawyer, and that's the lawyer.
Yeah.
So we are partners with Avista, Inland Power and Light. There's way too many folks that are assisting us that I can mention, and and my heart goes out and says thanks to each and every one of them.
So moving as things get built, I know that there was a big celebration on the anniversary, the 1-year anniversary. Was that right, Dan?
That is correct.
Okay. Did you show some pictures from that?
I did.
Okay.
That's where the kids were spraying water.
Okay.
And folks eating under the tent.
Okay, great. So I'm thinking, will there be another celebration next year, celebrating more houses that have come in, or what do you think?
Well, I'm hoping that by this time next year, we've got tens, maybe 20 more houses. I have no idea.
Right.
We've got outside folks that are looking to build here. You know, you think about it, we're within a half an hour of Eastern Washington University, half an hour of 5 freshwater lakes. We're 45 minutes to Spokane and 45 minutes to Pullman. What a great home to
It's a
come
good
and
location.
the
Yeah,
location. And our property is not priced the same as Pullman's. How about
Yeah.
if we put it that way?
it's called affordable. But the other thing you left out is, you did mention it in your talk, but you are also on the trail. That's the Great American Trail. The Calista Cascades will be part of the Great American Trail across the United States.
That's right. And we're working with, and have been working with Washington State Parks for the trailhead, and we will have restrooms and drive-through spots for folks. And we want to encourage folks to come and visit Malden, enjoy our trail, our beautiful countryside, and enjoy the hopefully clean air that we have in abundance of.
Well, maybe somebody should open up a bike shop,
Could be.
a bike and
I've
brew,
got a
right?
we had a person from Connecticut ride the trail this spring, and he will be bringing tours through here.
Oh, great. That's awesome.
And at the time next year, I hope to have our community building built, our fire station and municipal building. And I would love to have the amphitheater completed so we can have a festival.
Oh,
You know, who would ever think that we could gather folks from around the Pacific Northwest and have a music festival in Malden?
oh my gosh, I'm coming.
We went from.
Amen.
That sounds like fun.
There's the battery. I wonder.
Absolutely. Oh, Libby, you got something to say?
There's my check. It's going in the
Oh
mail.
my,
Yeah.
thank you.
That's how you get it done, Libby. That's how you get it done.
One day, one friend at a time.
Oh, this has been really just a wonderful presentation. I really appreciated the history and the background, and just the ups and downs of Malden in so many ways. I mean, it was really quite a booming community at the turn of the century as Eastern Washington communities went. And you know, you're a nice little sleepy community until the fire. And so, yeah, you're going to come
You know,
back.
out of the ashes raises the phoenix.
There you go.
That's right.
And that's how we're going to do it.
Yep. All right, does anybody else have any comments or questions? Hearing none. Oh, there's Paul. Okay.
If we want to make a donation, who should the check be made out to?
Christine, do you know, can you handle that long-term recovery, or Pine Creek?
Or it could go directly to the city of Malden, right?
Right.
Yeah.
City of Malden. Yeah.
Town of Malden.
Town of Malden.
Town of Malden, sorry, not quite a city. All right. That's
Soon to
the
be.
PO Box 246.
248.
248.
Oh, excuse me, 248. Yeah.
Thank
Great.
you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks,
You know,
Paul. You
folks-
get an applause too, Paul. Woohoo!
There's one thing I would strongly encourage, and as we're getting into winter, it probably won't be until spring that folks want to come by, but we do want folks to come by, and I'm here at least 2 days a week, and my information is on the board. Everybody in the county knows my cell number now, and we put things out because we want folks to be here. We want folks to come visit.
Can you
And thank
tell,
you all for allowing me the time to talk about Malden.
can you tell us when the Amish are coming to build the houses? Do they have that scheduled yet?
It will be January 3rd.
Oh,
The middle of winter.
burr.
Brr.
We've quizzed them about that multiple times, and all they do is they say, we're from St. Ignatius, Montana. We know how to build things in the winter.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if you want to get something done, bring in the experts. So
Right.
I'm with you on that. I've had one of my best builders on my house was a Mennonite gentleman, and he and his son, they were
Yes.
amazing. They were truly amazing. Yeah. They really celebrate the trades. You
Yes.
know? I mean, they teach their people the trades. So thank you so much. I think we're, if there's no more, Paul, you look like you still have a question.
Gotta get ready to clap.
Oh, okay. So yes, thank you very much, Dan. It's been a really fascinating afternoon, 1 hour over the lunch hour, and thank you for agreeing to speak to us. And we'll come visit.
Come visit, and thank you all for giving me this opportunity. Have a good day, all. Be safe.
Okay. You too.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.